We're on Zoom.
I know, it's nice to see you.
It's so cool. I'm looking at your empty chair over here. But anyway, so we're going to do our episode over Zoom today.
Yeah, just why not?
Why not? And maybe post the video and have some fun, and people could see our unwashed quarantine faces.
Showered in like 3 days. So it's good. You can't smell me. You just I wet my hair.
It looks awesome. It's all good. But instead of an ad, we're going to do something different.
Yes. So everything is terrible. And it's hard to know how to help, but there are some things you can do and places that could use your support. So we compiled a short list of reputable organizations providing direct relief to people who need it most. So check it out on our website. That's fleabagpodcast.com/coronavirus. And there's a bunch of international charities. There's some US, some UK, some Australia. And also, I think the United Way link can go to any of your local communities. So I don't know. We just wanted to make it a little easier.
Yeah, just something to, you want to feel like you're doing something.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get started right after our open.
Yay.
Father, we have a cupcake situation over here.
Okay, Pam, I will be there to cupcake.
We're back. Everything's weird. It's all different and we're adjusting, but I think we're going to make it work. Everybody understands. That's what I think is so great about this whole thing is like everybody is humanized and everybody understands that things are different right now.
And we're all figuring it out. I've been loving watching like the late night hosts like try to set it up in their living rooms and stuff and just seeing things go wrong and then being like, oh yeah, you have a dog too. Like
I liked
people that work for you have their jobs for a reason.
Yeah. Have you seen John? Have you been watching John Oliver?
Yeah.
Because I like how he was like, I actually have a white void in my home.
Yeah, that was perfect. And like I think Stephen Colbert's first episode, like his dog knocked over the iPad, so you like see the camera like over there.
I watch CBS Sunday Morning because I'm 85 years old, and the David Pogue, who's a tech writer, did a whole thing about like a Zoom primer, and because I think he actually does work from home, and so he was like, here, I'm gonna give you like the pro tips, and one of them was like face the window, otherwise you look like you're in witness protection. And I've been on so many calls where it's just like they might as well just have the Facebook silhouette, like you can't see their
like
face.
Your shadow.
Yeah. And then he was talking about like the virtual backgrounds and stuff, which I like. Kumail Nanjiani was like, can we knock it off with the virtual backgrounds? Because he goes, I don't need to see you hovering over Jupiter with your left arm going in and out of existence.
Like a little distracting.
It's a little distracting. Although it's a good way to hide your space.
Yes.
And I was going to say this later, but everybody on these Zoom calls, we're looking at your houses.
I know.
And we're judging. And like, I know this is not the best. And that clock has been broken for 6 months. So it's not actually 20 to 6. It's anyway, but it does have our fun Fleabag.
It does. I mean, you're in the right room.
I'm in the right room.
And I don't even have our desk broke like right before all this started, obviously. So we're working on it, but I'm couching it. And then I took my husband's Duke basketball poster down.
I think it's funny. You have a different thing for like every meeting on that hook.
I think it's going to be like a rotating thing because I really like buying art and prints, and and all of my walls are covered and I don't have any more space. So I might just do a rotating gallery.
It's your time to shine.
Right?
So how are you doing otherwise? How's everything? You had happy Passover this week. Today's Good Friday.
Yes. Do you say Happy Good Friday, or is it like sad?
I don't think you do because this was the day of the crucifixion.
Yeah, so it's like not.
But they say Good Friday because this is what led to the resurrection and Easter. It is cute because I've talked before about how we have not really introduced religion to our son. And so he saw it on the calendar though, and he's like, Good Friday. And then he came up with this himself. He goes, that means you have to be extra nice to people because it's Good Friday. And I was like, you know what? We're running with that because trying to explain crucifixion to a 5-year-old,
no,
it seems a little rough versus be nice to people today. So it's like, sure. Anyway.
So he's the best kid ever. I really miss him.
He's a good one.
I miss you too, but you know.
Like, I get it.
No, Passover was nice. We did 2 Zoom Seders, which was an experience. And it was nice because I haven't ever done it myself as an adult. Like, we always go to my in-laws.
So, like, organize the Seder.
Yeah, so I, like, 20 minutes before the Seder started on, Wednesday, I was like, oh, I can make a Seder plate. Like, oh. So I, like, made the harosa. I mean, not really. Like, it was quarantine Seder plate. It was, like, what you have, you put on the table. But, no, I also did make matzo ball soup, which was legit. Oh. So that was kind of honestly the highlight. The food is always the highlight.
Of course. What is the main dish? I know there's all the like symbolic food.
It's anything Jewish, really. I mean, there's always matzo ball soup, but everybody does something.
Is there a brisket?
My mom made a brisket. My father-in-law, because we do Passover with my husband's family, usually he's like an amazing cook, so he like makes like Moroccan tagine chicken, and you know he just cooks. He just makes really good food, but he does make matzo ball soup. So that's clutch.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. It was cool. It was really cool.
One of my friends said it actually ended up being one of his like top 3 favorite Seders over Zoom, because it was just so different, and maybe it made people like more engaged.
Yeah, and there was more people. Like, my parents joined, and I haven't had a Seder with my parents in years, so that was really cool. It was because like nobody's got anything else going on. Right. You have to do the Seder.
We know where you are.
But yes, it was lovely.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's everybody's adapting, and I felt like this was the week I finally got into a little more of a rhythm, and we kind of figured out a better schedule in terms of like trading off Archie. And Archie has also started, and like Archie's also, I said, even in like 3 weeks, I feel like he's like grown, like he looks like more of a bigger kid to me, and he's like doing more stuff on his own. And so, which is, always bittersweet, but I feel like he kind of senses that we need him a little bit to help to do more stuff. And like, so that's been
stepping up.
Sweet. He's stepping up. It's a little, the sad thing that kind of hit me this week was that they officially announced like the school year is done.
Yeah.
At least in Georgia.
In place. Like the schools are closed. Right?
The schools are closed.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are doing online
like the digital stuff. Yeah.
And I think they're changing to like pass fail. Like they're doing a lot of.
They're
doing a lot of. They're getting rid of standardized testing. Like which were like, maybe some of this should be permanent, frankly.
Right. I know.
But he's not going to have his little pre-K graduation, and like I feel so bad for the seniors who are not getting prom and graduation and
all those milestones.
It's huge, and that's such a mental turning point for you as a teenager that you're now entering adulthood, kind of.
Yeah.
So to miss that is really kind of a bummer. But anyway, one thing I just wanted to mention, we were talking about COVID. We actually, someone in our group who we mentioned on this podcast, Seb, our Facebook group, Seb, because we said he like exploded onto the scene, and suddenly we were devoting like 20 minutes of podcast time to Seb's polls. So he's based in London. He actually has COVID and was diagnosed. I think he ordered a test and got it a few days ago. And so it's been rough. It definitely, when you talk to him, like it's not the flu and it's not a bad cold. Like it's tough. Yeah. So we just wanted to send a shout out to Seb, and his absence has been noticed on the group. Some people were like, oh, we've officially scared him away. So we wanted to like clarify, Seb is a strong man. He did not get scared away by our horn storm. And so I guess today was like day 10. And so he feels like they say that's kind of the critical time is like day 5 to 10. So he's, I think, still sick, but I think is hoping maybe to turn the corner soon. So
such good news.
And we were just saying, it's, this community is incredible. I was getting all gushy last night on the Facebook page, but it's so true, because here, like, this is a guy I didn't know existed 4 weeks ago, and or maybe a little more, and everybody else on the group, like, we haven't really all met, like we're all basically strangers, but in a strange way, like we're closer than some people I know in real life. Like,
I know.
And like, it's such a scary thing to be so far away and hear someone saying that like they're sick, and so every day I'm like on Messenger and WhatsApp and whatever. But he even commented too. He said there is something different about this group. I don't know if it's all fandoms or this one. I think it's this one. It's very special.
We're special. This is one big advertisement for our Facebook group.
Yes. Well, and also we're like, this speaks to Fleabag just being a special show and the themes that resonate with the right people in the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're sending lots of love to Seb.
Yes.
If you all want to, send a prayer or good vibes or whatever it is you believe in, I know he would appreciate it.
I'm like, I haven't even really talked to him that much, and I've been thinking about him all the time. But I don't know. Also, that goes out to anybody that has it right now or has someone they love having.
Yes, absolutely.
We're sending vibe. We want to think of you. We want to acknowledge you. We know this is probably the hardest time you've ever had it. Or if it's not, it's like you don't deserve to have something else terrible. So we just want to send love, basically.
And there are other people who are missing from the group because they're working. Like I know Clodagh is working, and so she, is a health worker. I think she's a doctor. Yeah. But there are a lot of people who are having to take care of people, and so like you said, love to everybody.
Yes, we love you, and we're thinking about you. And thanks.
I think the other person thinking about everybody are the Fleabag crew, because we were just like gifted with this bounty of content this week.
It was so wonderful.
Every time I'm like, okay, it's fading. Like there's what's left to talk about. It's like, so.
Did you ask? Oh, here you are.
Yeah, here you go. Like in 2 days, I suddenly was like off the grid, or off my real life grid and into the world. So I'm going to tease. Okay, I promise we will talk about the video that Andrew's stylist, Teo Vandenbroek, posted on Instagram. He did a Zoom chat with Andrew Scott about Isolation Essentials, which I guess is a series he's going to do. We will talk about it. It needs a thorough review. So that's coming up. And initially, Teo had just posted a teaser that was a screenshot of him and Andrew, and like looked like obviously a video. And all he wrote was "soon come," and everybody's like, "What is soon come? What does that mean? When is soon? What's gonna come? What is soon come?" And then that led to a lot of.
Did you get the answer? Well, obviously.
Yes. Then it was excruciating, because then we were all just watching Teo's like stories of like, okay, and it was like he's like, "I'm making a tangerine cake," and we're like, "We don't fucking care about your tangerine cake."
Andrew? Is
Andrew Scott gonna come over to eat it? Then we're interested. Anyway, so we will.
I still haven't seen it. I'm like saving it. I know. I feel like I'm busy. I mean, can't even talk because I don't have any kids, but I feel like I'm busier now than I've ever been in my entire life.
You don't have any children to neglect with your obsessive fandom.
Shut up and watch a video.
And I have a story about that when we get there.
Anyway. Child neglect. Anyway, but yeah, we'll talk about that.
Let's talk about Jenny Rainsford briefly.
I know. So we knew you all were going to love it, but it was really nice to hear that you loved it, because we also loved it. And I think everybody loved it.
She's loved, just combined. Everybody commented, and we had said this to her, like, especially now, like it was such a little ray of sunshine, not just to be able to talk to someone from the show, but then she just brought such a positive spirit, and she's just got like a light in her voice when she talks, like
very musical. And
yeah. So thank you again, Jenny. It was such a highlight for us. Yeah. And just everyone, not even just the interview, like even the whole process, like her agent couldn't have been better. Like everybody from this show is so nice. Yes. The bar is set very high.
Phoebe's just like filtered all the people.
She is like a litmus test.
Right. That's the way to say that.
Yes. Anyway.
Yes, it was lovely.
Also lovely, talking about the best people. We mentioned this in our last episode, but we had our Q&A, and actually it wasn't even our Q&A. So Jonathan Paul Green and Ray Holman just offered to do this Q&A with people from our group, and it was fantastic.
And that's the production designer and the costume designer, so they had such interesting insight.
Yeah, and it was on my birthday.
Yeah.
Which was like the highlight of my day. Everybody kept saying like, "Oh, what a bummer. I hope your birthday was okay, with the pandemic." And I'm like, well, yeah, that's all awful, but it actually turned out to be, for what, given the circumstances, pretty amazing birthday. Because all of a sudden I'm like, I'm watching, like Jonathan at one point did a share screen, and he was showing us this like 3D model of the set they did for the bathroom at the restaurant, and how like the wallpaper he chose, whatever. And I literally wanted, I think I texted you, I'm like, this is unbelievable.
It was just so fun to see how they work, and they were just both so lovely, and also like, you know, again, join our Facebook group, search Fleabag Situation, because he just posted in the group like, hey, as of like 5 minutes ago, Ray Holman and I are gonna do a Q&A like tomorrow, be there. You know, it was just so cool that they wanted to do it. And then it was like, what, I don't know, 50 of us or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there were a lot.
They collected all the questions ahead of time. They had it all sorted out.
Yeah. It was just cool. It was just really cool. And they talked to us for like an hour and 45 minutes or something.
It was a long time.
I know. And they were so kind. And
I said I felt like Bus Rodent, like I couldn't stop smiling, which is the only time I've ever felt like Bus Rodent. I also wouldn't say no. I also wouldn't say no to a maroon.
That seems like a good color for you.
So yeah, thank you to Jonathan Ray for just being so generous and just gracious with your time. And speaking of Ray, this is exciting. We're scheduled to record an episode with him next week.
Yeah.
So if you have questions you would like to submit, go to our Facebook page, which again, just search Fleabag Situation, or just email us at thefleabagsituation@gmail.com. And we can't promise we'll get to all of them, but they went through a ton of them when we talked. So
yeah.
We'll,
and if you, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you missed the Q&A with Ray and Jonathan, then they recorded it. So you can go to our Facebook page and find it there.
Yeah. And then, okay. And then you had all that, because again, all this stuff came out this week. The big news, you have a limited time to watch the play.
Yes. Yeah. So a few days ago, Phoebe Waller-Bridge did a very cute video with a surprise cameo announcing Fleabag for charity. So basically what that means, for those of you that don't know, is you can stream the play while sitting on your couch for as many times as you want for 48 hours. Or you can just keep buying 48-hour streaming subscriptions. I don't know how long they're going to like let us.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
really
it's up
said.
for a month or something. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I might have made that up.
Today is the first day for the US, and it's on Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime Video. And if you are in the UK and Ireland, I guess it started April 6th on Monday for you. And that is if you go to sohotheater.com/Fleabag-for-charity. And that's obviously the British theater with an R-E. Not like it matters because the Americans are going to go there. Whatever. Anyway, and then, today it's available Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the US.
And there have been a lot of comments about the fact that it's not available elsewhere. And like the Fleabag account just tweeted about it. People have been replying. So it seems like it's not available elsewhere, but they're looking into options for it. So my guess is they just wanted to start getting money to come in for the charity. And hopefully they'll be able to get it out worldwide soon.
Yeah, and it's great because all proceeds are going to charities, including the National Emergencies Trust, NHS Charities Together, and Acting for Others. And then also they've launched something called the Fleabag Support Fund, which will distribute grants of £2,500 to freelancers working in the UK theater industry who are affected by the crisis. And I guess they're still working on organizations in the US. I don't know, they said it'll be shared later this week. But it's like, yeah, give $5 to feel good and watch the Fleabag play. And like now my husband can watch, make everybody I know watch it. So I'm pumped. And so they have a new Instagram account at Fleabag for charity that you can go to for more info.
Well, and they were talking too about the fact that I guess like 70%, well, and so this segues into Phoebe's video, because she mentioned that like 70% is going directly to COVID and coronavirus related charities and like frontline workers and that kind of stuff. And then 30% is going into the theater industry, because they were saying like all these, and not only are the theaters shut down and so they're not getting ticket money, but all of those people, a lot of those people work freelance, and that's true in the TV industry too, and like TV and film. And they said everybody is binging all this content, and like never been a bigger like need or appreciation for the arts, and but then it's like, well, the people who make that are actually struggling, and that and I think they even said in the tweet, like, everybody has this image of people who work in film and television and theaters, this very glamorous industry, and that's such a small percentage of the people who work in it. Most of them are just like, you know, working week to week. So that's another good cause to contribute to.
Like that's what I saw, something that I'll butcher, but it was something like, you know, if you, in this dark time, if you turned to your favorite TV show or your favorite music, like an artist created that for you.
Right.
And they're hurting. I mean, a lot of people are hurting, but they're also hurting. So it's just something to be mindful of and grateful for.
Exactly. All right. So then the video that announced this.
The announcing video. The most important thing that I took from that was her wallpaper.
Okay. What was it? Someone on the group was like, we need a podcast episode just about this wallpaper. And again, this is like these peeks into the homes, and I was trying to do like the CSI, like enhance, like trying to see what it was, but not in a creepy way. And
no, never.
They looked almost like book illustrations or something. I couldn't quite, it wasn't a pattern. Like they were all different. It almost made me wonder.
It like sort of like, what?
It almost made me wonder if it was like a blank wall that they just put like different drawings or pictures on, or stencils or something. But anyway, what did you think?
No, I also couldn't figure it out, and I also zoomed into that shit. But I just thought I liked it, and I mean, it's also probably not that interesting, but because we couldn't see it,
I know
it is interesting. As I wanted
like a little bit of exposed brick, like it was a very cool.
It was nice.
Cool looking room, which you would expect. And then you get to the end, because it's this great message, and then she says, you know, what the one thing we can remember through all this is, and then it's Andrew saying it'll pass, which I was like, as soon as it cut to him, because I wasn't expecting it. And do you ever have that moment, like if you're walking and all of a sudden you trip and you're falling, but it takes you a second, your brain just goes, something's changing, something's different.
You mean like every other minute of my life?
Something's happening now that's not supposed to be happening. And that's how I almost felt. I was like, wait a minute, that's not, what is this new what's happening? And and then it'll pass. And I was like, oh my God, leave it to her to have the exact perfect message.
Of course.
And also I was like, from our social media content standpoint, I was like, why the hell didn't I think of that?
Fuck.
Oh my God, it's so poignant and perfect. And that's why Phoebe thought of it, because she's a genius. And then also I was like, between the two of them, I was like, where do you get off looking this good during a quarantine? All of us are in like sweats and, you know, like I said, haven't showered in 3 days or whatever. They couldn't have looked. I was like, are they quarantining at a spa? Like they look.
I know. I loved how his hair looked.
It was all good.
Whatever. They looked great.
Somebody on the group thought that based on the audio, it sounded like he recorded his part in a bathroom, which maybe he did.
That's where that's a good recording spot for like songs and stuff. So
it's true. So our team of investigative reporters will work to confirm this information, and we'll provide updates as we have them.
We know that how important this is to everybody.
We're nothing if not journalists.
Yeah, I know. We did go to journalism school.
So that was what, Tuesday that came out, I want to say.
Oh, sure.
What day is it? Who cares?
Days aren't real.
Today is actually, instead of Good Friday, it's good whatever today is. So then I think it was Wednesday morning, there was just kind of this unexpected little treat on Twitter from somebody named Jonathan Manners, who apparently lives in the house where they filmed the wedding. And obviously they weren't there when they were filming, but they had like security cameras, like Ring cameras or whatever. And one of them was trained on a window, which would make sense if you're worried about break-ins. And so he said a year ago, whatever, the finale aired. And so I thought I'd share this notification we got from our security system that there was activity outside one of our windows. And it turned out to be Andrew Scott waiting for his cue. And when he like walks into the lawn all dressed up. And so it's just, it's such a funny little, it's cute. And it's kind of fascinating because you can kind of hear some crew noise, but you just see him, and then like he's so focused, and then he's like kind of running his lines to himself, which is kind of funny.
Like you see his process. It's nice.
Yeah, and then you just see him like exit the frame of the window, and then what's really cool is if you listen closely, you can hear Olivia Colman go, "Oh, way to upstage the bride," and it's just like, oh, you know, it's the opposite. So now I need to go back when I rewatch that again. I just kind of know, like, okay, he was just pacing in front of this window right before this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's just a fun little nugget.
Little unexpected peek behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's up on all of our socials, so you can go find it there.
Yes.
And then Sunday, big night.
Yeah.
And we also didn't mention on here, Killing Eve is also back on Sunday, which I haven't watched yet, but it's a big Phoebe night.
Yeah, although she's not involved with it anymore, but still.
She's not, but we pretend.
Technically, yeah. I watched the first season and I loved it, and then I fell off it. But
well, I think she's still on it as like an executive producer. I think
that makes sense. Yeah,
totally.
But yes, no. Our big Easter present on Sunday. My Easter present is that Run, Vicky Jones' new show and Phoebe's new show on HBO premieres this Sunday in the US, and then Wednesday the 15th in the UK on Sky Comedy. And what was really fun is that like they did not give us a lot of, like, they've been real careful not to give us that much information. So there's like 2 teasers and that's it. But now, what was it, yesterday, or that's when I saw it, but they released a behind the scenes, an Inside the Pact video that's like an interview with Vicky and Phoebe, and it was delightful. And what I thought was really cute is that at one point Phoebe said every single word that passes between them is significant. Every hand touch, every way they move past each other, that's what feels so electric about this show, referring to the characters in Run, because it's like basically about 2 people. And I was like, ooh, that sounds familiar. Like, I don't know, I'm here for more Fleabag vibes. I'm like, I don't know, I just got excited because that's like what is so special about Fleabag too, is I think just like how significant everything is. So I really dug that.
Another cute Irish boy.
This is true. Yeah. This is true. And they talked about how, because the premise of the show is that like 2 former lovers, I guess, or maybe, I don't know.
It's unclear.
It's unclear, but the 2 people, they had a pact that when one texted the other Run, the other had to text back Run, and then they would drop everything and meet somewhere. And that's like all we know about the show. But Phoebe and Vicky revealed that that like the idea came because they do that, or at least they used to each other, like kind of I think it was a joke, but then they said they did do it one time in like a weird, awkward situation. But I don't know, I just like seeing insights into their friendship, and it's cute and clever and smart.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see Vicky Jones because we've heard her name so much, but we haven't really, seen. I think this is the first thing she's done for TV, so we're excited about that on Sunday. Yeah. And then I missed this. I missed the script notes thing. I saw it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah. So there's another thing.
I'm telling you, this week was chock full.
It was a lot, which was great, but also I was like, oh my God, there's so much to watch and there's no time. But I guess there's a podcast called Script Notes, and it's for screenwriters and people that, want, I don't know, their tagline was cute and I'm not even going to try. But basically the 2 hosts had Ryan Reynolds and Phoebe Zoom in. And I was like, why is Ryan Reynolds there? And then I remember that Deadpool,
he loved it.
He like looks at, he loved Fleabag, which is like so fun to watch him like tell it to her. But he watched, or in Deadpool, like he looks to the camera, he breaks his 4th wall all the time, which I guess is part of the comics. So it wasn't like something he came up with, but he still, played a role. And it was just like very delightful. I actually haven't watched the whole thing because towards the end it turns into sort of a like game show about script writing or screenwriting and editing and stuff. And so I kind of sped through that, but it was like really lovely. And then I don't know, it's just nice to hear more insight into Phoebe's process. And one thing I thought was funny is that one of the hosts like tried to get at the who is Fleabag talking to question. But he like framed it as like a technical choice. And I was like, ooh, let's see if this angle works. Because he was like, when you were as the actress were filming, looking into the camera, did you like think of that you were speaking to anybody, or did you just like look at the DP or the cameraman, or did you look directly like straight down the barrel? Like sort of a way to be like, who were you talking to? And he said, he just straight up said, Phoebe, who is the audience? And she said, just the audience. And she said, I didn't think of anything too romantic to think about. I don't know how I'd act to that, actually. Having to act continuously like there's another person I'm thinking of and trying to communicate that to the audience, that's a complicated message to get over. So I just imagined an audience. So, but I think that's some good like insight. Mm-hmm. And also the more we sort of get some questions and think about it more, I think she like might not have actually had anybody in mind. I think It really is like, this is just the play. Like it's just my audience.
There's just somebody there. Yeah. I remember talking or hearing Pete Holmes. Do you know him? I think I've mentioned him before. He's a comedian, and he has a podcast called You Made It Weird, and I just love him. But he has talked about like even when you're by yourself, and he was wondering if this is like a comedian thing or if everybody does this, because nobody is looking, but you still kind of do something as if there's an audience there. Like, you drop something and you're like, oh, or something, or that was cool. Or you like talk to yourself or I don't know. He said something where you kind of pretend somebody saw what you did and you kind of give a glance or you make a little joke or something. And he goes, nobody is there. Who are you doing that for? And it's almost like you're just pretending. If there's a camera here, I did something for it.
Yeah, exactly. Someone like it's like about being witnessed. Like she talked about it that town hall Q&A, yeah. But anyway, I recommend that it's on YouTube. It's actually, I should have had this. It's called Script Notes Live, episode 445.
Okay.
And it was really lovely. And it was posted by John August, who's one of the hosts, if you want to find it on YouTube. Really
okay.
Nice.
What was Ryan Reynolds' quote? Remember when he tweeted something about like, Fleabag is so good, I wish it hadn't been made, or something like that? Or like,
I wish I'd never, I think he said, I wish I'd never seen it.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was cute to see him like fangirling about it. It was like, I love it. It was great.
Okay, so now,
all right, so ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? I have not seen this yet, so
oh my God, Allie.
Spill all.
So this Andrew and Teo video. What was so funny is, so like I said, this was like 5 or 6 days of what is soon come. And then we were like,
oh wow, they made you wait that long?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
I missed that.
Which, when you watch it, I think it's because Teo had to like edit the hell out of it, which he maybe over edited, if I'm being honest. I mean, anything that is cutting footage of Andrew Scott is over edited by definition.
Yeah, maybe you're not the best judge of that.
But he's also like the editor, like style editor for GQ, so he's probably a little busy. And anyway, so one morning I woke up and somebody had posted, they're like, soon has come. Like he had announced that this thing was going to be coming out at 6:30 UK time on Wednesday night, which is 1:30 here. So I then say to my husband, can you take Archie? I've got a 1:30. I've got a meeting. I did say, I said, it's a podcast thing. I'd like to, and because the thing is, it was just going up at that point. It wasn't live.
Yeah, but
why
wait?
Right away. And I just did some Andrew Scott finger snaps. And then, so then he was like, yeah, of course. So I had asked him for that help. Then, and I had posted on the page something about Teo, blah, blah, blah. And somebody goes, who's Teo? And I was like, oh, are you not on a first name reference basis with Andrew's UK-based stylist?
How embarrassing for you.
Yeah, come on. Then, anyway, watch this. This thing was a fucking gold mine. It was like everything you wanted it to be and more. And yeah, it was, and it turned into like a total horn bomb because the Andrew fandom just went into like DEFCON alert. Like it was, and so we literally,
like we were not prepared.
Well, we literally, because there's like a side Andrew Scott group that I'm in, and we were literally like, we need an emergency Zoom call to talk about this. We actually watched it together on like Facebook watch party. Anyway, so Teo he's the style editor for GQ. He's Andrew's stylist. And he apparently is going to do a series of these with people talking about, it's called like your isolation essentials. Like, what do you need to get through this? And so Teo's at his mom's house, which was very cute. And then Andrew's like in his kitchen. And of course, the same thing. We're like, what are those flowers? What is that thing on the, what's this?
What kind of pot
Such
does he have?
nerds. Such nerds. Which he even commented on. He's like, yeah, I'm here in my kitchen and like, and whatever. And it was just really, here's the mind fuck of all of it. Because we said this whole thing has been so humanizing for everybody. And I've read, they said it's kind of taken this like sheen off of celebrity where everybody now is just home, even though some people, they're being stuck home. Like Ellen DeGeneres kind of needs to back off of like, I feel like I'm in jail. Well, she did pull that down.
Oh,
she literally tweeted
good.
like, I feel like I'm in jail. And it's like, really? In your like 50-room mansion?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like, you and Portia can take a horse ride that'll probably doesn't quite feel like, jail.
Yeah.
Or
there
like
are a lot of people in a studio apartment. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
And Chrissy Teigen's like, I'm
Much
so
worse.
bored. And I'm like, I love you, Chrissy Teigen. You are good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where am I going with all this?
Kitchen.
His kitchen looks adorable. But, oh no, what I was going to say is because it was the Zoom chat, and he literally is just like, he even joked, he's like, I put a shirt on for you, Teo, even though he obviously has trouble with buttons because it was like unbuttoned down, like way down. And then
he did that for you, Chrissy. That was for
us,
you
for us.
Precisely, yeah.
And well, then he even joked that he said, it's funny, all the like the shit clothes everybody's wearing. And he said that he and his friends had done like a fake fashion show on Zoom and like commenting about like this ketchup stain.
Wait, Andrew or Teo?
Andrew.
Oh, that's so
And he
cute.
said, and like, oh, this ketchup is, I bought at Sainsbury's, the stain or whatever. And that, these pants were like 3 for $5 or whatever. And so, and he'd even commented on how like everybody just, when you break away all that like filter, everybody's just kind of actually using social media to actually connect with people instead of it being like this image. But anyway, by the end of it, because it's so casual, I was like, oh, well, that was just really nice to catch up with Andrew over Zoom, as if he and I had a conversation.
Talk to you next week.
Which of course we haven't. But for those of you playing along at home, Andrew's 5 Essentials are 2 specific episodes of the How to Fail podcast with Elizabeth Day, which she posted this morning, was like, as if I didn't like love Andrew Scott enough. He plugged your podcast.
So cute.
The number 2 was the mute button. He talked about unfollowing and muting negative people on social media. And he goes, I don't need to see a picture of an empty shelf at a grocery store. That means you, my friend, are the empty shelf. Which I was like, harsh, rough.
Yeah.
Somebody named Ryan Heffington's dance classes. He said his sisters turned him onto this, and it's this guy in LA who apparently does these like really crazy. Some people on the group said they tried him and they're funny. These like dance classes where he said he has you like whip your laundry around, and he does like a punch the president move or something, and it's just kind of silly.
That's great.
And I was saying, because then he like acted some of these moves out, and it just basically opened up a gift factory because it was like,
he didn't know what he was doing there.
Pretty great. I think he did. And then this was the funniest part. He pulls out, he goes, okay, number 4 is these. And he pulls out these like black and red, like rope looking things. And they were his resistance bands that he exercises with. Because he was talking about how he can't go to the gym and like exercise is so important to clear your head. And then of course, then he made a joke about you can really work up a sweat in your own, and he kind of like caught himself. And he's like, they started making all these jokes about like solo exercise. But he pulls out these resistance bands, and Teo even goes, Andrew, we don't need to know about your personal predilections. And he goes, yeah. And and in the background was this vase of like white tulips. And he goes, yeah, this is my whip. And he's like, what? And he goes, yeah, it's just me, these tulips, and my whip. Which I now want on a t-shirt. Then number 5 was meditation, which is now impossible for me because my brain is just replaying this interview on a loop.
I think that is your meditation, right?
That's my meditation. It calms me, brings me to a positive, centered place.
And you're just focusing on one thing.
Yes. That's better than reading Twitter right before you go to bed. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, don't do that.
I shouldn't do it.
Oh,
So anyway, we did this emergency Zoom call, and it was so funny because So here I've already asked my husband to, take over while I could watch the video, which I could have watched any time of the day. And then, so I said, oh, I'm going to leave dinner a little early because we're doing a podcast Zoom call. And he goes, and this is like a subgroup for Andrew Scott. And he goes, okay. And then he goes, what's it about? Which I know, here's the funniest part. I now have to stop and go, so Andrew has a stylist named Taylor. Like, I have to start there.
I'm surprised that Alan didn't know this already about his stylist. I guess you have us for that and the group for that. So that's why he doesn't know.
Exactly. I've been able to channel all of that over here. A little tributary off the Chrissie River that whatever.
That's just it's a beautiful metaphor.
It's a weird image. Anyway, you can see this now legendary piece of content. You just go to Teo Vanderbroek's Instagram, or just wherever we exist on social media, we've posted it. And by we, I mean I.
Yeah, Chrissie does all of that
it's
brilliantly.
Me. Brilliantly. Well, Allie's like, I'll let you run with that Andrew Scott train.
No, here's the thing. I thought I had a moment the other night where I was like, I like Andrew Scott too. I'll get in. I'll be part of the group. But everybody's really funny, and I don't have anything.
It is a funny group. Oh,
that's why I want to be part of it, because they're really fucking funny. But I was just like, oh no, I'm just gonna keep lurking because you guys are all just like really entertaining, and that's not how my brain is. So
if you join our main group, if you're not there yet, if you join our main podcast group, you will see references to this side group. It's kind of a secret. It's kind of like, if you find it, then you belong there. It's kind of my attitude.
It's a treasure hunt.
It's a treasure hunt, exactly. And then, okay, the last thing, talking about the podcast news. So on our podcast page, one of our super talented members, Katie, came up with this genius idea where she was like, I think we should do like some kind of Inktober type creative prompt. And I don't know if everybody does Inktober. Like every October, there's this group that gives like daily prompts for artists to draw things, like create whatever you want. And so she was like, let's do that for Fleabag, but it can be any type of creativity. Like you could sew a cross stitch, you could write a poem, you could do a dance, you could
make a Lego,
make a Lego, draw something, paint something, whatever. And so she took it upon herself and wrote this list of prompts, and we started it a few days ago. Today is day 6, Fox.
Yes.
And it's just generated some of the coolest stuff. Like people, and here's what's so amazing. And Katie even said this. She goes, the whole point is just to be creative. It's not to produce something that's like a masterpiece. Because some people are like, oh, I'm not very good, I don't want to do it. And it's like, just do it. That's the point. The doing is the thing. That's the thing with creativity. And but then here's the best part. People will go, I've never written a poem before. Here's mine. And it's brilliant.
It's so good. Like, I forget who did that, but somebody said, I've never written a poem. And I was like, well, that was like extremely beautiful and just blew my mind.
6 lines of perfection. So
it was amazing. So it's hashtag Fleabag30. So if you go on our Instagram and Facebook group page, you'll be able to see the beautiful art.
And then I don't know if I've been good about posting the roundups on Facebook, actually, now that I think about it. But it's all on our Instagram and Twitter. I've been doing the roundups, and then you can see each day's next prompt. And then just tag us, and we will repost the ones that come in.
Yeah, Katie made all the prompt image graphics. I don't know, you guys are awesome.
It's really been fun. So thank you, Katie, for that, and for everyone who has contributed and everyone who will contribute. Yeah, and we encourage it.
Join us.
And it's just fun to have another fun activity to fill the time in a positive way.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we got it. Is that everything? Did we miss?
Did everything?
Has Teo released anything else? I'm like scrambling to check my phone. Right now. Is anything else soon come?
Right. No, I think we should probably get to the point of
Well, what is soon come is our breakdown of the Scriptures season 1, episode 4, which I always forget to mention at the beginning. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back and chat about that.
Yay!
Yay! So here's the part in the audio where there will be a little break, but on the video, it's just Allie and me talking shit again.
I mean, it's actually a problem because a lot of times during the breaks, we end up talking for like a half hour.
Oh my God.
And then we're like,
every time we're like, okay, we'll knock this out in like an hour. Even though the episodes are usually like an hour and a half. Yeah, it's fun. We could take this time on the video side to say that we do still have so a couple things. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts because that helps other people find us. And what's fun is we've been seeing a lot of people discovering Fleabag in their quarantine binge and finding us. And then we still have our merch. We still have our Etsy calendar.
Yes.
Which I think we're down to like 10 left. So if you want to get one,
all right,
get on
it's time, guys.
I keep wondering.
Time doesn't matter.
Time doesn't matter, but you also want to measure it. I don't know. Time is a flat circle or a rectangular calendar. How about that?
That's perfect.
Yeah. And I had posted before that if you lived in Australia, we could direct mail it to you to avoid that fee. Fortunately, right now, I can't get to the post office and that's the only way I can do first class international. So that part's on hold right now. And we can always get more calendars if we need to. But the other thing that's interesting is Etsy will tell you 4 people have this in their basket. Or people have favorited it. And I want to know, like, how do I contact them and be like, just do it. Just do it.
It's running out of time.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself. pull the trigger.
If only.
We're back from our break.
And
Did that feel like we barely took a break?
Yeah. Let's go take another break.
I always love that on like Conan's podcast. They'll take a break and they'll come back and because it's always a comedian. They're like, "Wow, that was a great break," because they obviously took no break.
Like, what a good sip of water I had.
Yeah, they're just gonna edit that back in. I need to see. He's doing shows from home. Did you see SNL is going to do it from home this week?
I did. That's huge, and I am very. I wonder if it's going to be all pre-done stuff or if it's going to be live. I don't know. We're going to try to watch it live to like have that full experience on Saturday. We'll see.
That's true. They didn't say live. They just said produced material. Material produced remotely.
Like weekend.
But it also will be interesting to see Saturday Night Live content without an audience laughing.
That's true. It's just going to be a weird thing.
It's going to be weird, but I think it'll be fun. And like Alan was even saying, like there are kind of even things about the way people are like communicating or acting or things, how like people, obviously the situation itself is not funny, but the way people react to it can be funny. And so like I had seen somebody on Twitter, I don't know if it was Kamal, somebody saying, not muting is the new reply all. And I was like, that is
new big no.
A big annoying thing that one person does, especially when like you clearly have a kid in the background who's screaming or something and you're not talking. Like mute that shit. We don't need to hear it. Just
do it for us, please. And don't make the host mute you. Like that sucks.
Then you know you screwed up.
Take some personal responsibility.
Yeah. So anyway, we have our books. I'm holding it up for the people watching the video.
This is my bookmark.
Yes.
Can I pull it out? Nice.
You have a nice bookmark. I don't. I just.
Oh, it's just 2 stickers that I ordered and I didn't do anything with them, so they're my bookmark.
I have that.
I just because I took my bookmark out.
You're like, I have this thing called a bookmark. I don't know how it works. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Whatever. I'll figure it out.
I took one of those. Allie gave me one of those and I put it on my laptop. And so now it's really cute when my son is like playing computer games. And then there's Phoebe like mood on the front. And I'm just like, that's right.
Boobs, cigarette.
Yeah, drink.
Whatever. He's a cool mom. You're not like other moms. You're a cool mom.
I am a cool mom. I'm a little I was joking that because obviously I have a lot of Fleabag and Andrew Scott pictures on my phone for social media purposes, and he likes to play with my phone, and I'm waiting for the day when he turns to me, he goes, "Who is this?"
Like, is this my uncle? Like,
Is this, yeah. Who's mommy's
Or
friend?
This is your best friend, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So this is fun that we're on video now looking at our books.
I know. And we
I love
can
it.
start at episode 4.
Yeah. Episode 4, and this is The Silent Retreat.
Yes.
This is, I would say, my favorite episode of season 1.
But yes.
This was a turning point for me.
Ditto.
So obviously we started through in the car. I didn't really have any specific
So
notes.
did we say we're on page 103? And I think
they're the same.
It starts on page 103. Yeah, they're the same, US and UK, because this is the UK because it has that.
Oh, you show off. Big show off.
Yeah, I'm just really cool. But
so yeah, I didn't have any specific notes on 103. I started at 104. I don't know about you. Okay.
I also did. I just liked that Twatnav was Twatnav. Twatnav was
Twatnav. Did you say Twatnav?
I said Twatnav. Is it twat?
Isn't she? Well, she rhymes it with Satnav.
Oh yeah, duh.
I
think I always no, she does. In my head, I've always said twat.
Well, that's how we would say it here, but right? I think
Let's count how many times we just said twat. I think that's more times than I've said it in my entire life.
That word might be worse than cunt. Have you seen the Justin Trudeau video where he talks about speaking moistly?
I didn't see it, but I heard of it, and I was like, well, I don't need you to see me, or I don't need to see him say that.
You might actually.
I know people have a problem with the word moist. I don't have like the exact same thing, but it's not great.
It's not great. And it's the way he says it, and even with the kind of the Canadian accent, because he's basically talking about why you need to wear a mask if you're sick. That normally that's why you wear it. I think now they're saying everyone should wear it, but that if you're sick, to avoid like coughing, he goes, if you're coughing, or then he goes, or speaking moistly to someone. And then he even goes, the funniest part is he goes, oh, what a terrible image. He says that in the speech.
All right, I'm going to need to watch.
But I was joking with somebody that I said, while he's talking about speaking moistly, I was definitely listening moistly when Justin Trudeau talks.
That's what I was going to say when you were like, you might have to. And I was like, well, he is nice to look at.
That's true. So yeah, there's all kinds of memes now about speaking moistly.
That's also just not a thing you'd say, but we're all under duress.
I think when he said it, he was like, that didn't make any sense. And that's why he went, oh, what a terrible image.
That's really great.
The line,
to have a competent.
Oh my God. The line that the stage direction that I had highlighted is when now they're after she goes, don't make this fun, which is always such a funny. You had a note about that.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to read like what the stage direction is?
Well, I thought because the first part was when she burst into tears and she goes, don't make this fun after Twatnav.
Yeah.
And so but I think you have a note that's before the stage direction. So I don't know if you want to.
Oh, I just, oh yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay.
Yes. I put it in the wrong place. That's why it's confusing because I did it wrong. No, when she again, this is, maybe we even talked about this when we did the episode about the episodes, but it got me thinking just how relevant that was for right now. Don't make this fun. I am sad. We're not allowed to laugh. You can't make a joke right now because I am in a bad mood and something bad has happened and I'm sad. And I've been struggling. When you were saying this week, you've sort of gotten a rhythm. This week was kind of a big for me too. Cause I felt like I don't know, I'm more grounded and less fucking frantic and I don't know. But it also, I think one of my friends said to me earlier this week was you can feel really sad and totally overwhelmed at what is happening, but also things can be funny and weird and you can be joyful that you are FaceTiming with your friend. You can feel things you can feel many things at once. We contain multitudes. And I don't know, it was when I just read this today, I did my notes for this and I was just like, yeah, Claire, you can feel both things. Like, let her. We can be devastated and have a good time sometimes. Because by pushing that down, it doesn't help anybody. So anyway,
absolutely.
That's Dr. Allie's take.
No, it's why people laugh at funerals, and like that's kind of the definition of grief, of like you're feeling multiple things at different points. One's more intense and one, I completely agree. And there is a little something to like, even if you're in this bad situation, I feel like I was telling Alan, I almost feel like the situation's almost like when someone gets drunk, and it just like, it exacerbates the qualities they already have. And so like, if you're a mean person, you get meaner when you're drunk. And if you're a gusher, you love more, whatever. And I feel like that's the case with this. Like if you're a cynic and a pessimist and ungrateful, like you're just finding every reason to be more miserable now. Yeah. And a lot of it, like you said, there are justified things that are bad.
Like you're allowed.
You're allowed to feel bad about it. But then I do feel like you can also view our specific situation of like being in isolation or being home, whatever, as an opportunity to be introspective or spend time with people. Like I said, at the end of this, even though we're all anxious to like get back to normal, there are some parts of like normal life that we might look and go, you know what? I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
Or I didn't like being exhausted all the time or never seeing my family. And I said, I think at the end of this, a lot of us will look back and go, I kind of missed the quarantine. Like all this time with my
aspects
son.
Of
Aspects
like you get to
it.
see him grow hour by hour instead of day by day, like
so an excellent point.
Freaking time. And also I mean, we're also, you and I are fortunate that we're just, the hardest thing we have to do is be home and not
absolutely
out and about delivering or working in healthcare or delivering packages or teaching, like becoming a digital teacher that you were never trained for. So that's also part.
And home in a safe place with people we love.
I know.
So you're right. Multitudes. I completely agree. So then I noted
back to Fleabag.
This kind of relates. Because the stage direction then says the car is now parked up on the side, and Claire is crying in the way that people cry when they wish they weren't. She's desperately trying to hold it down, which only makes her hyperventilate. And that sums up what we've said. Like the harder you try to push something away and deny it, the stronger it gets.
Yes.
And so versus just accepting, okay, this is a bad situation, I'm going to let that wash over me and let myself feel what I feel, and then you can move on from it.
It goes through a cycle. I'm just going to say this one thing because it helps me so much. And then I'll just shut up. You guys, we already talked about how like when we talk over each other.
Allie's going to say one more thing, and then the podcast is ended for good.
So it's a good thing that's never going to happen. We were talking about how we were like, okay, well, since we're on Zoom, sometimes it like if we talk over each other, the person who'd been talking totally gets like muted basically, and I was like, so what? We'll have to be really careful about talking over each other. And then we kind of were like,
it's going great.
I talk over everybody. I'm like, it's such a bad habit. I try whatever, and it's with me trying not to.
Yeah.
Well, no, the only thing I was going to say is that something my therapist said a few years ago that like changed my fucking life was that emotions only have to last like the natural progression of an emotion is 7 minutes, which I'm maybe just made up, but it's sort of the thing where if you just like believe it, it's real. And so you can like, you just like let it happen. And if you don't feed it and like, if you just appropriately experience it and notice it and be curious about it and be like, oh, this is what it feels like when I'm totally heartbroken and devastated or annoyed or whatever. But like breathe and sort of sit with it and sit with the discomfort. It'll pass.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just needed to say that, I think.
I always think of another great thing, not my therapist, but Jack on Lost once said. I always think it's in the pilot. I don't know if it's in the pilot or one.
I never watched it.
You never watched Lost?
I know. I will one day. I know.
Here's the thing. I will never watch it again. It was a moment in time. It's because
so should I watch it or not?
I think it's worth watching for the pop culture
value.
The
end was weird. Yeah.
The end is bad. I would at least watch I would maybe watch the first 2 seasons at least. Just for the pop culture milestone of it. But anyway, he's a doctor, and he was like a spinal surgeon or something. And there's some situation they run into where they're like terrified. And he basically was like, I was doing this surgery where there's like this bundle of nerves and I accidentally nicked it. And I just like he goes, and I gave myself 3 seconds to panic and then pull myself together and fix it. And she's fine and whatever. So I always think of that, of like, I'm going to let myself feel this and then I'm going to move on, you know?
Because there's a cycle. There's like an emotional cycle. So you just have to let it finish. Don't get stuck in it. But anyway, good loss. That's some good lost wisdom.
It has its moments, and then there's a smoke monster and it just goes to hell. All right. Then I had where they're walking up the path. And huh? Oh, yeah. So 106. Yes. I just like the way she phrases when they are, because they're kind of stressed and talking, and then the stage direction just says some very peaceful people walk calmly by, and then the next one, the calm people smile and nod and continue off. You can hear it, like it's almost like a joke in there.
Yeah, you like know what she means.
Yeah. Then we jump to 109. It's so funny. We literally have our highlights and stuff.
I know.
It's just fun to see scenes that you already know, but then the way she describes them. Claire is laying out all her moisturizers. Fleabag has 1 moisturizer. It takes ages. Claire has so many lotions.
I love that. Well, because I love that, like, it wasn't just like Claire lays out her moisturizers. Like, she like took lines to sort of space out even how you read it, so you got the gist. Like,
Claire really has so many lotions.
Yeah, that was very lovely.
That is for my face and body. I just love it. And then finds the batteries.
Good, so. Yes. Why did you bring the tiny batteries?
Tiny batteries. Oh, so then I jumped. Chuffed. Well, so I pushed to 111 where she's, why did you bring the tiny batteries? We love our chuffed. To me, it's so funny because it's the opposite of what I think it means.
Yeah.
I always think I think we've chafed. I think we've said this before. I always think it's a negative thing, but it's actually good. Yeah. Chuffed to my boots. And then I had highlighted when she goes, the flashback then to Boo, where she's taking batteries out of the clock and throws them to Fleabag. And the note says she throws them to Fleabag, who is packing a vibrator, which they're packing a bag to go somewhere. But then I at first read it like she's like packing a gun, like on her, like in a holster.
Like, oh, she's packing.
She's got a vibrator holster that she can, like, just in case. You never know.
There's like these necklaces.
There's that necklace.
With
We've
little
talked about
ones.
it. Yeah. It looks like a whistle. Well, it looks like a rape whistle.
In case of emergency, right?
Oh my God. It's worth looking that up just to read the reviews. It's ridiculous. We've talked about it before.
Yes. And
then
the retreat leader on
on 111.
Is that?
Yeah, it's 111. The description of her.
Oh yeah, the reason I wasn't seeing it is because I was looking at 110. So that's the weird thing about page numbers.
Yeah, here's how numbers work.
Yeah, I did love that she was described as 40, serious, gentle. Like,
I love it's just these
check those boxes.
Yes. She looked a little older than 40, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's true.
I still love that the retreat is called Women Don't Speak compared to Women Speak. I had never even caught that until you pointed that out to me.
It's one of my favorite things.
The moment on 112 when she goes, why are you here? And I can't remember if we talked about this before, because when Fleabag says, I want to shut the noise out and reconnect to my inner thoughts on the road to feeling more at one with myself. This is like exactly like with the therapist, where she gives the answer she knows she's supposed to give.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
We did. So
I think we did. But yeah, it's still good. It's still solid.
And then the stage direction response to the whole thing about trapping your thoughts in your skull and thinking of it as a thought prison in your mind. And the stage direction just says, Fleabag and Claire look at each other. Christ.
I know. Like, it's like commentary within commentary. No, I love that. And also it's like, oh, there's some religion.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's not. It's just
instead of even saying like they look at each other in disbelief, or they can't believe it. Like she just writes cray. Like we know exactly then what they're thinking.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
perfect.
that communicates it really well.
Yeah.
And then on, so in a not actually that similar vein, I noticed, and I feel like maybe we talked about this too, and also apologies to people who've like just listened to the season 1 episodes of our podcast and know them better than us because it's been a while for us. And if you like binged it, then you're like, we just went over.
You've heard, you said all
like,
this.
Sorry. But on page 113, or she starts on 112, she goes, the principal rules are no talking. If you need to communicate with any of the other superiors, you can write on that board. And that made me think of like, it's like a nunnery, like Mother Superior.
Yes, I had never noticed that it was called superiors.
Well, is that a thing at nunneries? Is it just Mother Superior, or are they called, like, is superior used in any other way?
No, I think it is just the big one, the big nun, Mother Superior.
Yes.
But this isn't, well, I guess it's a monastery, kind of, because they said there's a monk who answers the door.
Oh, that's true, but I feel like that's just for show.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, and then the wasp, which we all just love. On page 114, I had never heard this version of the word quiet. They quieten down instead of quiet down. Must be British. Our
good
tagline.
I know.
I thought it was funny too that she gave, so the 3 men who respond to Patricia getting the promotion and like, what would you say to her? They all have names.
I know, like real standard white
James,
guy names.
Mark, and Frank, even though they're never spoken. It's kind of like who's Boo's boyfriend? Jack.
Yes.
But yeah, James, Mark, and Frank are the ones who don't know what to say.
I know.
And then
I feel like and the workshop leader doesn't have a name. It's just workshop leader.
Right.
But I feel like by giving them names, it makes them like more broadly applicable because it's just like standard, like rando name, just like very average men names. And like it's usually when she doesn't give them names, or like it's like because they have like these distinguishing features. But these men are just like an everyman. So it's like, all right, it's just James, like, or
James.
it's just Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Patricia gets a name.
I know. Isn't Patricia the best name for that too?
It is. There's something about
like
having like 3 syllables or something about it.
Yeah.
Then on page 115, I just like the note about how Fleabag and bank manager smile a little in recognition. Like the fact that they smile at each other, not even because they had such a negative interaction, which they do the flashback to, that neither of them like looks away from the other. It's more of like, okay, we're both here for some reason. Like we're both here separately for some reason that is suggesting we want to improve ourselves in some way. But also there might be some greater reason that the 2 of us are now both here in the same moment. Like they both kind of acknowledge that maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like, because later on, and we'll get to this, but he says like, or the stage direction says like he understands her, and even from that first bit, you're kind of just like they both recognize, they see themselves in the other. I think like they're just like, all right, we're both here.
Right. There's already a little bit of forgiveness, even.
Yeah.
And like instead of it just being her being like, terrified or just so disgusted at seeing him again, or vice versa.
Exactly.
Which, like I said, this is the underlying thing about the show that I think is what gets me, is that lack of cynicism and judgment,
or like
exactly.
lasting judgment. Like we're all judging each other, but like
people can change.
Period. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, then on video, I can't edit out me going then.
I know. So nervous man?
115. A very nervous man nervously interrupts him. and he was
very nervous.
They cast nervous man very well. He was excellent. And then the fact that she waves to the bank manager before she leaves. And then on a tiny board is written, I've been stung by a wasp.
I know. I do with nervous man. I thought he'd be like workshop assistant or like, like an actual role name.
Yeah.
But I he's just nervous.
I think well, and he's an attendee too. He's like Frank, James, and Mark or whatever.
Oh, because I was just
person.
like, he was like, you really can't be here. It's for your own good. Like he was like one of the
maybe
people that worked there, but
that could be.
We don't know.
But he's really concerned for her safety. That's for sure.
He's very nervous.
Very. Then on page 116, I just highlighted when she goes, when when she and Claire are each in bed, and that you hear Fleabag with the vibrator. And I think it's funny that they established that Claire did bring it, which it is a little like, when did she expect to use it?
I know.
But then Claire looks over, Fleabag waggles the vibrator at her.
There's a perfect word for that.
It's a word I was not familiar with. All right, and then I jumped ahead to 118.
Yes.
I just the note that the way the leader, the retreat leader, is given a note to sing/speak, which is exactly what she does. Which is so condescending.
Exactly.
And then 119, I just, the way she describes, instead of that Fleabag just laughs really hard at Boo saying that she would change her thighs, she just says Fleabag pisses herself.
I know. Which I need to get used to. Like they just use the word piss for like take the piss out of piss means getting drunk.
Right.
I remember as a child loving that song Pissing the Night Away. What is it called?
Is it called Pissing the Night Away?
No, but that's what it's not Kissing the Night Away, and I thought very romantically that it was when I was like 9. Chumbawamba. I knew it was like Oompa Loompa or something. Okay. It's called Chumbawamba, I Get Knocked Down. You know that song. Like, I get knocked out and I get up again.
Okay.
And it's tub thumping.
Allie, it's called tub thumping.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with what you just said. You said when I was a child or when I was a kid.
I know, I'm sorry.
And that song was out when I was in college. So when you said, I thought you meant like an old 80s song. And I'm sitting here calculating what song is called. And I thought you meant that you know what song I was thinking of?
You were a kid.
Here's what I was thinking of. Twisting the Night Away. Twisting the Night Away. And when you said that, I was like, I don't think that song is called Pissing the Night Away.
You're wrong.
I don't think there was a song in the 50s called Pissing the Night Away. But you're right. That was the chorus. They were like a bridge.
It came out in 97, so I was like 8.
Night away. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was always like, kissing the night away. That's so lovely.
God.
Like, oh, they're kissing. And then I learned it was pissing because one of my best friends is Irish, and so she like told me about it like a few years later, and I was just like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would they be peeing?
Oh my
and
God.
she's like, no, it means drinking.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You drink some vodka drink, you drink some lager drink.
Which like context clues, but you know, again, I was 9, 8.
Okay, that just shook me. That woke me right up. All right, now we are on page 121, and this is when you talk about Mother Superior, because it describes that the two of them are sitting in her office like two naughty children. But then the tired but understanding leader takes a deep breath. Like, she's not totally just a caricature bitch, you know.
They give her some
level of soul, But then even like, do you have a problem with the program? Both girls look down. Like, it is a very schoolmaster vibe.
Well, she even says, like, I don't want to come down on you.
Right, like a school teacher.
Like a school teacher.
But that's what I'm doing.
yeah, but I'm gonna.
Okay, here's a big part for me. It was on page 122, the flashback with Jake coming into the bath. Because we said this when we talked about it. It's such a delicate scene that could go so. There's still an element of creepiness to it, but it doesn't feel dangerous or exploitative or whatever. Like, there's something, they treaded that line so perfectly.
Yeah.
But the way it's described, it says Claire is in the bath. The door creaks open. She looks nervous and grips the side. A young teenage boy walks through the door and tries to get in. Now, just that description could go so many ways in terms of how you shoot that. So, you know, Harry Bradbeer was smart to just like, you never see his face. And then, because here it says a teenage boy. I actually was never clear. I thought that what was so good about it is that it's not immediately clear he's a teenager.
Yeah.
that like
That's
he
what I
could just
think
be
the
an
joke-
older boy.
yeah. Because all you do is like see his briefs, and it's kind of like that
Right.
could be a little boy. Yeah.
Totally. Like he's obviously not a developed person. This sounds terrible, but I don't mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah. No.
Like his stomach is still like a boy stomach. Like and then his briefs even have like, I don't think they have cartoons on them, but they have some kind of design.
They look
on them.
younger. Yeah.
They look young, and yeah, the fact that you don't see his face and just the way he comes in, and so there is that hint where you're like, okay, this is like a little boy. So then it's funny when she goes, he's 15.
I know.
But then, and you don't see him, and then it says and tries to get in. So I don't know if they shot more of that where he is starting to get in the bath, but I think if Gary Dollner made that edit, like it's such a smart thing to just cut it off as he starts to walk in. She's panicking.
Because like what's about. I know. I love it.
Yeah. And like I said, it never feels threatening. It's just, at first you're just like, okay, this is just a boy who wants to be close to somebody. Like, I know that sounds, it never feels sexual.
That's why I think that's why it doesn't, right? Because you think it's like just a little kid, like who it's not
wants to be by his mom.
That's the whole reason why it doesn't feel as creepy as it truly is because you think he's just like a little kid.
Right. Even though I've never taken a bath with my son, and I don't plan to. But
like, isn't it like he's probably like tried to open the door, like kids want to be like, why can't I go in there? Like
I almost have taken a video of like when you're going to the bathroom and the doorknob is literally being tried. And you're like, can I even just take 10 seconds to go to the bathroom? And now
all I have.
He'll even get to the point where I'll like, Archie, I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. Pee or poop? Like he wants to know how long I'm going to be gone. And I was like, I'll let you know. We'll see how events pan out.
Oh my God. That's really funny.
All right, where are we here?
Oh my God. He just wants to manage his expectations.
Exactly. On the record. On the record, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so then
123.
123. Oh, yes. And actually, I had something that I forgot to add. And I'm sure we talked about this, but it was just nice to see in print that, because when Claire's like, I got the Finland promotion, I'm not taking whatever. And Fleabag's like, oh, come on, don't let other people get in the way of what you really want. And it was just, I don't really have a comment. It was just nice to see it in writing, and I just dug it.
Yeah. I also like the, I hadn't really kind of noticed until I saw in the script, like the beats of like the 3 beats of husband. Like, my husband isn't other people. My husband is my life. And then she's like, your husband tried to kiss me on your birthday.
Yeah, because the first 2 times it has like one quote. And then when Fleabag says it, it's apostrophe italics husband. Like, no, well, your fucking husband. Are you trying to like be like, oh, fancy about your husband? Like,
this person you're so committed to is actually gross.
Yeah.
And then Claire looks like a train has hit her, which I like that description.
Yeah.
Okay, then I moved ahead to, so now just the whole bank manager scene.
No.
So it starts on 125 and then going into 126.
Oh, wait. Can I stop you really quick? Because there's something else I meant to put, and I skipped it. But on 125, when like they come across, when they see each other, and then they're done with Patricia, and the bank manager's just like holding Patricia. It says he looks up to see Fleabag watching him. Frightened, he pauses. And I thought that was interesting because when they see each other the first time, like we were just talking about, they like smile and kind of like acknowledge each other, but they knew they weren't going to talk. Like there wasn't going to be any like further interaction. But like this, like describes him as frightened. Because he knows that he has to like deal with it and practice like what he just learned or whatever. So anyway, that's all.
Yeah, and even the workshop leader saying, you can do it. You're ready. You're ready to go talk to a woman without
a human woman without touching her breast.
Without touching her boobs.
And holding a sex doll.
Oh God. That is, yeah. That's the irony. The first line I highlighted on 126 is because when he goes, they keep asking me, what do you want from this? What do you want? And then he takes a beat. I'm not telling them what I want. But then he tells he tells her, who's also a stranger, basically. It's almost like he knows she'll understand it more than those weird dudes.
I think they just feel a connection. Like, I think they're on the same island together.
Well, and that's where, because then the other note, just quickly, where she gets a beautiful track starts playing quietly under his next dialogue, which I was like, no pressure on Isabel to come up with a beautiful track. But this was another incident where the US and UK versions are different. Because somebody said the UK one, I think, is a band called The Gloaming. I'm not exactly sure that. I feel like that had come up. Because in US, it's a song called Mirror Lake that's on. If you go on Spotify and look, I think they're both on there. But one was used in the US and one was used in the UK.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But I do love that because then, I don't think she's mentioned music in a lot of the notes, a lot of the stage direction. At least I'm probably in the second.
No.
It will? No?
Right. Well, no, because she said in season 1, they purposely were really sparse with the music.
Right. But so it's like, I just like that she was just like, she wants to set the scene. Like, setting the scene was really intentional to be by a beautiful river and the trees, and it's a gorgeous day, and he's saying these like really meaningful things, and like, let's make sure this is all like picture perfect.
Yeah. I agree. And then after she says, I just want to cry all the time. And the stage direction saying he looks at her, his smile falls slightly, he looks away, he understands her, he nods slightly, she looks vulnerable, he looks at her again, she looks at him, she zips her mouth shut, he zips his mouth shut, they both look out. It's such a beautiful moment. And like you said, he understands her. Like, this is where they parallel, like, you can parallel him with the priest.
Yeah.
In terms of a surprise person that she just understands her, who happens to be male.
Yes. And like have flaws and a past and whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that it was so choreographed. I mean, who knows if this is like actually the stage direction, but she does like to do like different, intentional head turns. So I feel like maybe she did spell this out for them. But I did like sort of just like that reaction, and then and just to see it written like he understands her, because that's what we had like posited. That's what we had said, I think, when we were dissecting the shit out of this the first time. Mm-hmm. And so we were right.
Well, or even, she looks vulnerable. That's kind of her whole quest in season 2, is to be vulnerable. Yeah. And I think I had mentioned, I don't think I talked about when because back when he says, I'm not telling them what I want, and it made me think of the confessional scene, and how her whole monologue and her breakdown was her basically talking about what she wants, or starting by saying, he assumes she means like, I don't know what I want, but then she goes in this whole thing about what she wants, and again, it's like she's breaking that down to somebody she actually can be vulnerable with. And in this case, it's bank manager talking to her, and it's almost like we were saying with the Fleabag Facebook group, where if it's just, you just find the right people, you just immediately connect. It doesn't have to be the amount of time you put into it.
Yeah, sometimes it just, you just feel that
you just works. Feel that you're on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
and it's really special when that happens.
Yeah, it's the best. Well, I also when it says like when she says, I just want to cry all the time, and he has that reaction, and that's when he says he understands her, I was like, oh, I think we all understand you right now.
Yeah.
I also want to cry all the time in this moment in history.
Well, and I just thought of the fact that he's willing to share all this with her, because it's also like, traditionally men are not allowed to feel that, like, or definitely not allowed to show that they feel like they want to cry all the time.
Yeah.
And so, right, now that he, she can say that to him, and he understands it because it is how he feels, and she will accept that from him, whereas the other men probably won't.
Yes, totally.
Then, where did I go to? 127, with the whole thing of her climbing into bed with Claire. And I hadn't really thought about this maybe the first time when I watched it. It's like, this is their first interaction after she's told her about Martin.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
and Claire has kind of, been hit between the eyes, and I can't, I don't know if she leaves on like a negative note to Fleabag necessarily, but it's clear at this moment she believes Fleabag, and I guess she always did believe that he was the one who initiated it.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
You.
I was
No,
just
go.
going to say nothing.
No, that it's kind of almost an acknowledgement of Claire acknowledging, like, I need you right now. And, you're my sister, and you kind of take priority over my gross husband.
Yeah. Now.
And then I just like,
I
they lie like this for a few poignant moments. So sweet.
And it was cute because also they say, like, she gets out and goes to Claire's bed and climbs behind her like they did when they were little. And I thought that was cute because when they're talking about it earlier, they're like, remember when we used to go like
top to toe
or whatever. So that's like not the same. That's not what they're talking about. But like, it's so much more intimate and lovely. It's like,
yeah. I remember when I watched it, the first time I thought that's what she was going to do because they had brought that up. And, it's the old Chekhov's top to toe. If you introduce top to toe, you got to bring it in.
Once, you see it a million times.
But you're right. And the fact that Claire wakes up, it's not even like Fleabag just gets around her and kind of sneaks in. Like Claire wakes up, but instead of rejecting her, she acknowledges, like, no, I actually want you closer.
Pulls her in. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. Now, page 127 still. Oh, so when she gets up after, the next morning, and Fleabag enters a room where all the women are scrubbing the floors, and she just asks, have you seen my sister? There's no note that she, like, shouts that in a panic.
No, it's just, I feel like Fleabag just only has one volume possible in that situation. Like, if told to be quiet, she has to be loud.
Right.
Has to.
Exactly.
But yeah, you're right.
Seeing the board, there's a small essay in tiny writing there. And it's Claire's note. And then, and then her listening to the message from Boo.
Oh, I know, heartbreaking. And I love that Messiagio in the scriptures is like written out like that, like Messiagio. And it makes me wonder.
It's in the play too.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, is that a thing that you and Vicky say, or was one of your voicemail messages that once, or like it's just like, where did that come from?
It's so specific.
I know. I just really dig it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You had a note about Jenny. We didn't ask Jenny.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was even this, but because what I realized actually the other day is like we didn't ask when we interviewed Jenny, we didn't ask her if she knew if Boo's name was actually Boo or if it's just like a nickname. But because it's referred to, like, there's other characters that say Boo, like Claire says Boo, and the taxi driver says like cute name, and then her message says, "Hi, this is Boo."
Right.
So it could be that it is really her name. Or we're just in Fleabag's head, and so anything
it could really
that,
be her
like,
nickname.
she perceives. Yeah, true. So, but it's like Mr. Robot, where he like anytime Evil Corp or E Corp comes up, he says he like sees Evil Corp. I was like, is it just like Boo? But I guess you have to ask Boo.
Yeah, we'll add that to the list. Yeah, it's clear she's like she refers to her as a real person. Like she's clearly a real person. Yeah. Anyway, well, it's my favorite episode of season 1, and it was fun to read the script to just see how, I guess this was the one where it really just felt like crisp and clean and, clipping along. So yeah,
Yay!
we're only 2 episodes. Oh God, we're gonna get to talk about season 2 again in 2 episodes.
So close.
I was so excited. I just recommended Fleabag to somebody who loved it, and
that's fun.
It is. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
All right. We mentioned before, if you want to donate to some of the charities that are helping first responders and people affected by COVID-19, you can go to our website at fleabagpodcast.com/coronavirus, where Allie has compiled a list of reputable charities that you can donate to. Because like anything, there are people who are going to try to take advantage.
Yeah.
So these are all the ones you can trust. The money's going to go. Yeah.
And there's links up there for the Fleabag for Charity website too. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe that's easily accessible.
Exactly. We still have our Etsy wall calendar, or our wall calendar available on Etsy. I had mentioned before that we could try to ship directly to Australia to avoid this crazy surcharge that they add to it, and I could send it to you kind of as a gift. But unfortunately, I can't get to the post office right now because I have to do that to ship first class international if I don't want to spend like $80 to ship you something. So that's on hold right now. But for most other people, it's still available. And then we still have our Teespring shop with our, maybe I should add that t-shirt that says, "It's just me, these tulips, and my whip."
That's what
That
I was thinking.
That might be our new addition.
Like, why not?
Like wearing that to the grocery store, and everybody's like, "The hell
Like,
is that?"
what's
I should
that
make it
from?
tiny. I should make it really tiny. And we have mentioned before that all of our 10% of our profits from Teespring go to help refugees / choose love, and they're providing support for refugees who are even in a worse situation throughout all this.
I can't.
And
yeah.
But we just got the email. Like, we get an email every now and then that's like, "Your donation has been sent," and it's such a nice feeling. So grab some stuff there, and we'll be back soon. We will soon come with everything. A new episode is soon come.
Yes. And we got some good stuff in the works.
It's our episode. It's, if all goes to plan, it's our episode with Ray Holman. So again, send us questions via email at thefleabagsituation@gmail.com or on our Fleabag Situation Facebook group, and we will try to include as many as we can. So, well, I love you, Allie.
I love you, Chrissy. We love all of you.
We love everybody. Hang in there. We're sending everybody love, especially Seb. Hoping to hear from you soon. And we miss you on the board. So we're looking to, on the boards, what is this, the 90s? On the group. And we'll get chatty with everyone soon.
Yes. Bye.
I'm going to do the Andrew Scott.